I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction.
I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Raising the debt ceilings does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy.
I know words. I have the best words. Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Peddling Fiction Podcast. I am your host, the voice and soul of so-called fiction, Johnny Profita. And back with me, as always, is the one and only Justin Hillbilly Boy Campbell. What's going on over there?
It's getting fucking hot here. I'm sure you've been having similar heat for the last 3 months, but it is upwards of 80 degrees for the last 2 or 3 days, and it's getting roasty. I'm gonna have to break out a fan for this garage pretty soon.
Yeah, no, we're still kind of just hovering around 80 over here. So it's unseasonably cool, I would say.
Like yesterday morning when I got up to take Sean to school, it was kind of cool, and so I threw on like a light hoodie and took him to school, and then I came back and took a nap. And by the time I got up from the nap, it was like 85 degrees. I had to start shedding clothes. I was wearing way too much. Like, golly, we're just jumping straight from winter to summer. We're not even going to bother with any of the spring shit. So, yay, climate change, I guess.
Yeah.
Just think, Johnny, we're only like 2 months away, maybe 3, from getting all of the maps with everything in red, even though the temperature is lower than it was 2 years ago. Like, oh my God, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, dude, I know we put the side by side up on an episode once upon a time. These fucking dishonest hacks. It's like the temperatures are lower than they were a few years ago, and everything's in red. It is. Well, I saw something. I didn't actually read this article, but it might have been Sweden wants to start charging these climate activists as like terrorists. So like when they put on one of their stupid little fucking things, they start blocking traffic or destroying artwork or building, like vandalizing places because climate is changing. I think they're talking about like bringing serious charges against the what's that little girl's name? Not so little anymore.
Greta Thunberg?
Yeah, the Greta Thunbergs of the world. But I might welcome that. I might. They are just such a fucking pain in the ass. And they couldn't have been. I mean, the only people that have been more wrong on anything than like the corporate press are the people, the climate change activists. They've never been right about anything ever. You would think that even just a broken clock would get it right once in a while. But nope. They couldn't be more wrong on everything.
Well, and the thing that the climate change activists have working against them is they talk all this shit, but then they fly around in private jets. They have the biggest mansions. They have these, all of these cars. They have all of this stuff. Like, you are the ones who are espousing how we need to fix all this stuff, but then you literally don't do anything at all. In fact, if anything, you probably contribute more to what you claim causes climate change than like all the rest of us combined. So,
yep, pretty much. It's interesting how that works, huh?
And the total lack of accountability for like any of the countries that could actually make a difference in it. Like, why is it that and Trump was right when he did it. Like when the Paris Climate Accords things came around, like, Why was it that the U.S. was funding like 70% of that? Like, you know, just crazy. I think there are a lot of people who have started to wake up to the fact that it is a giant crock of shit. Also, like if you live in rural United States where you see these giant solar farms going in, or in some parts of the further west part of the Midwest where you see like the big wind farms and stuff going in, like this stuff just eats up ground. It completely destroys everything. And then your electric bill doesn't even go down. Like everywhere that has gotten these big solar farms come in, what they've ended up doing is they either scale back or close down the coal or natural gas plants, and then they jack your electric bill up because they have to pay for all of this shit. Like everybody is starting to wake up to this is all a giant fucking scam, and people are starting to get fed up with it.
Yeah, it's almost as like if there wasn't a nickel in it for the Greta Thunbergs of the world, they would not be this passionate about it. Anybody who is just following the Al Gore playbook in his footsteps, like you guys are the useful idiots. He's making billions of dollars off of this, and he always has been. And that's why the people that pretend to support him and that pretend to be in lockstep with him, they're all just buying beachfront properties, even though there's not going to be any more beach. 10 years ago it was supposed to be gone, and 10 years before that it was supposed to be gone, and 10 years before that it was supposed to be a fucking iceberg or some other shit. And yeah, nobody actually believes any of this, and that's why they're perfectly fine flying in private jet. Oh well, I bought the carbon offsetting bullshit. Yeah, okay, that's just another fucking racket for somebody else to make some more money off of this fucking thing.
I give my dad shit about it all the time because he had a book that was written in the 70s that basically had like a map that showed that by 1996 Florida and most of the East Coast would be underwater, like all of this, what climate change was going to do to the planet and how the polar ice caps were melting and everything else. And it's the same fucking map that they've been showing every 5 years or so for the last 20 years. But like in the 70s, they said this was going to happen by 1996. And it hasn't happened yet. And I was like, Dad, where is this book? Because like they are showing the exact same map on the fucking news, like on MSNBC and CNN, that is in this book from the 70s that was supposed to happen by 1996. They're like, where's this book? Because like I want to use this for like as an show, a side by side of here's the book from 1973 and here's the news report on MSNBC last week. They're saying the exact same thing for 50 years later. And he was like, oh, that book was such bullshit. He said, I threw it away. I'm like, oh man, see. This is like, I'm not going there. Move on.
What was the name of the book? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I know he had it on the bookshelf, and I remember I looked at it a bunch when I was a kid. Like, oh, this is like, interesting kind of stuff. And now as an adult, I understand what they were really trying to say and everything. And it's like, oh man, like this is good evidence of how failed the whole climate change narrative has been, because that wasn't like in the 70s when they were saying that wasn't the first time that they had said that. I think it went back to like the 50s when they first started talking about this shit. About the time that the military industrial complex started getting really ramped up, which they're one of the primary culprits. You don't ever see anybody who's going to these like Paris Climate Accords and stuff like that trying to de-escalate global wars. Then like they know where their bread is buttered.
Yeah, we mentioned that I think on the last episode, just how much pollution the military does, just bombing things and tanks and airplanes and transportation of thousands of people around the world constantly for no fucking reason. Yeah, it's all fucking bullshit. And it's just a racket for people to make it, just like the military industrial complex is a fucking racket. This climate change thing is an absolute racket as well. Isn't it amazing that every solution that they have just costs you and me money?
Right?
You just give them a little more of your paycheck, Justin. They're going to figure out the weather. They're going to solve the weather. Yeah.
And like all of the people who are traveling to all of these, climate accords and climate summits and everything else, they probably collectively have the money on their own to fund the entire thing. Like, why do we need to be the ones that do that? I mean, if Elon Musk could have solved world hunger for $44 billion instead of buying Twitter, you're telling me all of these jackoffs that are going to all of these like climate summits don't have enough money to fix climate change? Fuck off.
That's right. And of course, if you pull out of the Paris Accords or whatever, then you just hate the planet, obviously. If you've realized that this is a fucking racket and this is just a way for politicians to get more power and influence and money. Of course, you just hate the planet. It's all just so ridiculous. This would be a great segue into whatever the fuck caused the blackout in Spain, but I don't really know what's been going on with it. I just keep hearing about it. I've never really looked into it.
Let's see if I can find something on that real quick.
I think it has something to do with their green energy initiatives, but I have no idea. I have not really followed the story. Just came to my attention that they were like without power for like a day or two. I forget how long. But it would not surprise me if, they shuttered a bunch of their coal plants and their nuclear facilities or whatever in favor of solar. And then something happened and now they don't have anything. But I don't know what's been going on over there. I just keep seeing people kind of talking about it.
They've created, the Spanish Prime Minister has created an investigation commission to look into what happened. It says every time they've had like previous blackouts and stuff, it's been because of a fire or extreme weather, something like that. But this was just a warm, sunny day, and more than 24 hours, more than 24 hours after this like massive, wide-scale blackout. Nobody knows what happened. We saw this in, was it Germany, where they shuttered a bunch of power plants and stuff to be more energy friendly, and then winter came and they all of a sudden had to like start firing this shit back up because because like they suddenly realized they couldn't provide enough power to keep people warm in the winter. like there is not, for all of the half a century of studying that they've done on climate change and all of the solutions, they really don't seem to think this shit through very well.
Yeah, no, they don't really seem to understand anything or have viable solution. Like if I had such terrible ideas for replacing coal, it's like, oh yeah, we could use this solar stuff, but we can't really store it, and the wind's unreliable, and those huge wind farms are a fucking disaster. We're just gonna roll with it anyway. We'll figure it out.
Well, like a couple years ago, I did an episode on my show about the Green Energy Initiative, and when you look into like the solar farms and especially the wind farms, the type of copper that they have to use for those solar panels and for the wiring in those wind turbines, and the way that they have to mine that and the way that they have to refine that, holy fucking shit. It is like infinitely, exponentially more damaging to the environment than any of the coal mining that they do around here. Like they'll come out here and run these coal mines until, they run out, and then they backfill them and it becomes farmland. Like when they strip mine this copper and the way that they have to refine it and everything, like you've basically salted the earth. It's fucking done. It's now a disaster area. Like it's unusable for the rest of existence. And then the oil, because they act like, oh, if we have these wind turbines, we're just going to get away from using oil, right? Except that these wind turbines require a metric fuck ton of oil to keep them lubricated and running. And also the oil that they require and the refinement that's required for the oil that keeps them running is also way, way worse than anything else that we're doing with oil. It's like all of your solutions are way worse than what the alternatives were. But nobody actually takes the time to look at, like, you know, I can go through all of that research and all of that data and explain to people why solar panels are bad, and they don't, like, nobody cares. They don't actually want to believe that, or they don't want to believe that they're, you know, the experts could get it that completely fucking wrong. And that's the problem, is like the, you know, the appeal to authority bullshit is like, just because they're experts doesn't mean they know their ass from a hole in the ground.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. And then it's also, they like the sing-songy bullshit story of solar power and getting rid of this, the coal, the dirtiness of it all. It's like everybody would prefer to have like a lie that makes them feel good than an uncomfortable truth. I think the uncomfortable truth is that we're just not there. Might get there someday, but forcing it down the planet's throat, having the government spearhead the whole operation of forcing it down and just squandering, you know, resources are finite, right? And every time the government takes a bunch of money and funnels it into one sector of the economy or one area of investment, it crowds out investment, and it pulls resources from other things that are more viable. If all this stuff was actually viable, people would be putting their own money at risk to profit from it.
Well,
if
and
people
like there
aren't doing
are
that, and the government has to force it, that tells you everything you need to know.
Well, like there are viable solutions that are out there that they don't actually promote and put into wide scale practice. Like there's an electric. So one of the biggest problems with a lot of these strip mining and stuff like that is the equipment that they run. It all uses diesel. It all uses oil. It all uses all of these. So they are using as much, if not more, oil, and refining as much, if not more, oil for gasoline and diesel to run the mining operations as what they would be if they were just running power plants off of this stuff. So like, or, you know, just drive, you know, more than what we would use for regular vehicles. And one of the big problems with that is like all of this equipment runs 24/7. Like they don't shut these things off. They just keep them running all the time. And so the amount of pollution, the amount of oil and gasoline that they use, diesel that they use, everything else, there is a mining operation that uses electric, and another one of the problems is electric cars or electric trucks. Like they can't generate enough power to actually do what needs to be done. Like the strictly electric equipment for these mining operations, it peters out. It just doesn't have the top end power to be able to handle what these mining operations require to do it efficiently and to actually produce the final product that's needed for this stuff. Like the copper has to be almost perfectly refined for the pipe or for the wiring and everything for these solar panels and turbines. And without using coal and gas, they can't generate enough energy to get it refined to that point. But so like for the equipment stuff, there's actually a mining company somewhere in Europe that they have it's an electric truck, like giant. I don't know if you've ever been around one of those trucks. Like they're small cities unto themselves. They're huge. So they have these giant trucks that the way they set the mines up is they run on kinetic energy. So they fill them up and then they run them downhill with the load. And so as it goes downhill with the load, it builds up kinetic energy. And then when it gets to the end, it drops its load. The energy that's built up on the trip there, it now has enough power to take it back to the mine. So it's a self-perpetuating, as long as it keeps moving, then it keeps building up, and then it uses up the power that it built up to get back, and then and back and forth like that. No need for anything. But they don't, like, all of that requires time and planning, and they don't do any of that kind of stuff. So like actual legitimate solutions never get taken forward past very small scale, almost isolated uses.
And that goes back to the point that I was trying to make, is like the government crowds out investment in those type, like things that have potential for the politically connected horseshit. Do you remember Solyndra? Solyndra, that was Obama's big fucking solar horseshit initiative in like 2009. They got $530 million or something like that. 2 years later, filed bankruptcy. Now they're squandering resources on the politically connected. That takes private investment away from potentially things that could potentially get us there at some point, and they're just forcing it down. Like any company can come up with some bullshit thing and get millions of dollars from the government, aka the taxpayer, and that shit just goes down the drain. And it ties back into what Pete Buttigieg was talking about. Oh, well, we need the government to invest in this and that because like the private sector can't really do it. It's like, no. If the government's too early to the party and there's no viable way to productively use the capital and investment, then scammers are just going to come out of the woodworks and blow all of that time, money, and resource on shit that has nothing to do with anything. It was never viable, but the government, it sounds good. We got this the government can talk about it and they can throw money at it. And it's like, oh, whoopsie. Yeah, we lost they lost more than that too. I forget what there's like kind of debate. It was like at a minimum, they got like a $530 million thing from the government, and that is gone. But then they got like a bunch of tax deals from California. There's like another 30 million there or something. So like the estimates are like up to like 800 million or something like that lost to the taxpayer, plus a bunch of private investment like that might have even gotten into the a billion or more. And I guarantee you a lot of that private investment was only because of the government initiative to back it. So yeah, things like it's been an unmitigated disaster to allow the government to take on these initiatives. Their incentive structure is completely wrong. That's why they always fail, because the incentive structure is completely backwards from the private sector. And the more money they take from the private sector and squander it on unviable things, the longer it's actually going to take us to get to where we want to be. So stop having fucking idiots in government invest our money for us. Let us do it ourselves. Long story short. But speaking of electric vehicles, pull up that thing, the Chicago vehicle tax thing. My favorite.
Hello, JB Pritzker.
Yeah, Illinois. Sorry.
God, he's a fat fuck.
The Illinois government now wants to pass a bill that would tax citizens 30 cents for every mile they drive.
With more than 30 million registered passenger vehicles, the state says it shells out more than $8 billion a year to maintain the roads those cars drive on. But because so many now own electric vehicles, the gas tax money is starting to dry up, which is why it wants to instead charge drivers per mile and is now enrolling people in a 6-month pilot program to test out the concept.
The Illinois government now wants to tax citizens 30 cents for every mile they drive. They claim that they aren't making enough money off of gas taxes because of electric vehicles, and that this will help promote the usage of Chicago's subway stations. This decision from the Illinois government has garnered controversy online. Commenters claimed that this is why Democrat-ran states are failing, and that this will drive more people out of Illinois. But what do you think about the situation? Do you think that this bill is a good idea? Comment your opinion down below.
The first thing that I thought about was this exact idea is what the statists would freak out about if you suggest privatizing the roads. If you privatize the roads, you'll have to pay all these tolls. You'll have to pay for every mile that you drive. Well, now you're paying a shitload in fucking property taxes in Chicago particularly, and you get to pay 30 cents every mile to start out with until they blow all that money on fucking worthless teachers unions and bureaucratic pensions and all kinds of shit like that. So how you doing so far, statists? How much worse could these roads get? They're undrivable, and now you have to pay per mile in addition to the tolls and the taxes and the everything. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. And I love how it's the electric vehicle angle. It's like they push these electric vehicles. It's like, oh shit, now we're losing out on the gas tax. I remember my mom was telling me that when she renewed her license plates, because my old man bought like a hybrid. It goes electric for like the first like mile and a half, and then it turns into a gas car again. It's like barely even a hybrid. But when they went to renew the license plate, the fee was like twice what it was because now they have an electric car. They doubled the cost of the license plate. And it's like, well, why, what does the license plate have to do with what kind of car you drive? Like, it doesn't matter. The license plate goes on the car either way. It's like, well, yeah, but you're driving an electric vehicle. And so now you're not paying as much as into the gas tax. This is like what the lady on the phone told her when she called to complain. And it's like, yeah, we're not getting the fucking tax revenue from the gas, so we got to get you another way. If it moves, tax it. If it doesn't move, tax it twice.
Well, just looking up some stats real quick. They said that Illinois spends $8 billion per year on maintaining the roads. Yada yada yada. Bullshit. This again goes back to something we talked about last week, where that whatever their budget is, you have to overspend it. Their budget has gone anywhere from 9.7 down to around 3.7 billion over the last 8 years. On average, the average Illinois state DOT budget for all of this kind of stuff is around 5 to 5.5 billion. So like they're over, and anybody that lives in Illinois, I'm sure it's about like Indiana. Like Indiana's annual budget for the Department of Transportation is somewhere between 4.7 and 5.3 billion. These roads are absolutely fucking atrocious. And just this past week, they started putting the fucking cones out again. Same places that they put the fucking cones out last year. We had cones out all up and down this goddamn road for a whole.
Do they get paid per cone?
I'm like, they had the cones out all summer. About this time of year, the cones come out, and then sometime in October, the cones go away, and literally nothing ever gets fixed. Nothing gets done. Nothing's any better, and they'll be back next year to do it all over again. So where is all this money going? Like, what the fuck?
Exactly right. Yeah, like so between, let's just call it 3 billion and 9 billion a year. That's a pretty big difference. That's a threefold increase. Has anybody noticed any meaningful difference in any of the roads ever? Or is it always just kind of the same? It's like, it kind of sucks. Oh, here they are fixing this one again. They're fixing that, and it takes them forever. But the different, like you would think if you go from 3 billion to 9 billion, you'd be traveling on like fucking pristine, beautiful fucking roads. But no, they all look exactly the same all the time.
I went home to Kentucky a couple weeks ago, and over on the Tennessee side, they literally just built this new big bypass and everything for the I-69 corridor that they've been working on for the last 30 fucking years. That's never actually going to get completed. Like, that's another giant, like, just money hole. But that's neither here nor there. So they just finished this big section of a bypass for this I-69 corridor. I was driving through there and it was raining. Everything was just like, no, they did not put any type of a grade to it. The water is just standing everywhere. Like I drive through little rural ass country roads that have a better grade on them to let water run off. Like it was like driving through a fucking pond. Like, this is brand ass new. How did they not build this thing with any type of a grade to allow water to run off so that you're not like hydroplaning it? Like, what the fuck is it? They literally finished this thing 8 months ago, I guess at this point. Like, just at the end of summer, they finished this. How is it this fucking bad?
Yeah, it's DEI, bro. But I kind of like, if they keep going down this road, pun intended, like eventually the case for privatizing roads is just going to get stronger and stronger, because the roads are constantly under construction, constantly in disarray, and now you have to pay per mile. How much worse could it get under privatization? Because that was always what they would be like. Oh, well, first of all, nobody would ever build any roads, as if somebody who owned like a Walmart a couple miles away from me wouldn't want any people to be able to, any customers to be able to drive there. So they would just start this huge business and leave it there with no road. But then once the road was there, they would just tax you to death, and you had to stop and pay all these tolls constantly.
I think we've talked about it before. Like, I live out here in coal country. There are a bunch of like gravel roads because of all the coal mines and stuff. Like, they don't pave any of that stuff because of the equipment that they're running up and down it. The gravel roads that the coal mines maintain are better driving than the regular like paved roads most of the time. Like, the coal mines actually keep their roads up because they have to run their equipment on it. So like, they're well maintained. A lot of them, they run through and they spread mineral oil so it keeps the dust down and everything. Like, a lot of the gravel roads out here are infinitely nicer than. There are a few county maintained roads that, like, they used to be coal mine roads, and then when the coal mines got done in that area and closed down, the state took over the road, and now it's a state maintained road. Holy fucking shit! I avoid those like the plague. And there's a good chance the potholes are going to either destroy your vehicle or kill you. I would rather drive on the coal roads all day.
How do you know what condition these coal roads are in? They're private, right? You're not allowed to drive on them.
Right.
Or did they just build the roads because they needed to use them and you can also use them too?
Right. Crazy how that worked.
The way
right?
it worked. Interesting.
It's like, a big company might need a road, and if you use the road, they don't give a shit. They need the road. And if they, and even if they did pay a small, like if we got to the point where they closed down the mines and the mine just maintained the road, like, and you had to pay like a monthly fee to have a pass to travel down the road. Okay. That's way better than having to drive on the shit that's out here supposedly being maintained by the state and by the county.
Yeah. What did they say? It was 30 cents a mile is what they're going to charge in Chicago.
Yeah, that's fucking insane. I think that's
a lot, dude.
Yeah. What's the federal mileage allowance? Like if you turn in mileage to your work or something, I think like last time that Stephanie had to do mileage, it was like 52 cents a mile or something. So like if you travel for work, the Illinois state government is going to steal over half of what you would get in your your allocation for all of your driving. Like,
yeah. Well, and I'm just trying to.
This is going to hamper the workforce. Like, people are going to stop having jobs that require them to drive. Like, people are going to stop. Like, this is going to the unforeseen consequences of this would be catastrophic. And like I said, people are going to leave the state of Illinois. Please God, go somewhere other than Indiana.
Nobody's been sounding that alarm louder than we have. But no, this is great news because more people will use the subway, Justin, and the public transportation, which, as we know, it's not like at any given moment you couldn't just pull up your fucking your Twitter messages from me and pull up some fucking brawl that just happened on the Red Line. I think we had too many of them to play last week. But it's just like, okay, so yeah, they can go use public transportation, which again is pristine because you're paying all of these tax dollars. And obviously, if you don't want to drive, you don't want to pay the tax, then you get to use this wonderful public transportation that we have. That's completely safe. Nobody's getting stabbed or shot. There's not a big pile of shit in one of the fucking cars on the Red Line. There's not a stinky fucking homeless guy sleeping on it all night in the winter. Yeah, okay. And your property taxes are going to go down now because the roads are taken care of with this mileage tax, right? Or are your property taxes going up by 20, 30, 40, 50% every couple of years?
Well, and how long will it take the people of Illinois to be like, all right, now I'm paying 30 cents a fucking mile to drive my vehicle and nothing's changed. Like nothing's gotten better. And now the people who have to pay or who, have gas cars, they're basically getting taxed twice because they're going to have the gas tax. Because the gas, like we've talked about this before, they don't go away. The gas tax isn't going to go away just because they're going to start doing the 30 cents per mile. So now you're getting double tax on you're getting a gas tax and your mileage tax. Like, and how are they going to enforce this mileage tax? Like, now you're just going to have everybody like unhooking the odometer on their vehicles.
Yeah, it's going to be something that you have to fucking report on your taxes now. Another thing. How many miles did you drive this year? And yeah, it's and then of course, if you try to avoid the gas tax and you buy the electric vehicle, by the way, the plates for your electric vehicle, they're 3 times the price of your gas vehicle because you're not paying the gas tax.
Like
they're going to get you coming and going. Do you see how big of a fucking ass raping this is?
Like, they want to incentivize the electric vehicle thing, but then everything that they do disincentivizes the electric vehicle thing. It's like, pick a fucking lane.
Yeah. Really what they want to do is they want to steal money from you, and they're going to find any fucking way to do it and any way to justify it, and they're just going to keep coming. Remember when there was talk about like taxing rain? How is that going to work again? It was like something with like the rainwater. You were going to get taxed from like, fuck, dude. It was so long ago. I can't exactly remember, but it was like a serious proposal for like something with the rainwater runoff from your house was going to get taxed somehow. Maybe I'll ask Grok. But like, they are going to, like, we're not that far off from just them taxing you for breathing. Carbon dioxide tax. Yeah. And people are just constantly supporting this system. It's amazing how much abuse people will put up with. 30 cents a mile. Like, I never drove my car that much, but
meanwhile, what your tax dollars are actually going to work on, wait for it. Doge for the win, confirmed. Doge said USAID gave Chelsea Clinton $84 million, which was supposed to go for relief in Haiti. Line items show $3 million of the $84 million was spent on Chelsea Clinton's wedding, and $10 million to purchase a luxury mansion, all on our dime. You know, if Chelsea Clinton would have actually spent, and I'm willing to bet that the other $71 million didn't actually make it to Haiti either, but like, Chelsea Clinton single-handedly could have saved Haiti, and then we never would have had any of these problems, and yet here we are. Wouldn't have them eating the dogs and eating the cats and getting deported and all this shit.
Yeah, and what's amazing is just the amount of vitriol aimed at Elon Musk versus, like, this is not going to get any traction. Nobody really cares about, like, nobody's angry at Chelsea. Dude, a $3 million fucking wedding. You know how ridiculous that is? It's like, fine, okay, yeah. Like, if you're a legitimate fucking billionaire or something, you want to spend $3 million on your wedding, okay, yeah, I get it. But you're gonna fucking steal, you're gonna steal money and illegally use it for your fucking bullshit wedding and your bullshit mansion, and nothing ever happens to you. Anybody that raises a flag ends up, suiciding themselves with a shotgun to the chest while hanging from a tree, and the shotgun's 40 feet away.
That's my favorite one. I like that. The fact that was ruled a suicide is the most incredible thing ever. Yeah,
it is wild, man. It just goes to show you how much protection the corporate press fucking gives these people. Because if they really wanted to, they could bring anybody down if they wanted to be honest about any of these stories. But what causes do they pick up, Justin? Just the Maryland man was deported.
Maryland father.
Maryland man. And then, and then the other one I saw the other day was like, a 2-year-old baby with cancer was deported. And it's like, I can just tell by their fucking outrageous headlines that it's complete bullshit. Like, I guess maybe I'm just part of the percentage of was like 85% of people only read the headlines. Like, yeah, because I can tell when the headline's complete bullshit. And then of course you actually dig into the article and it's like, no, they deported the mom, and the mom said, my daughter's coming with me, so send my daughter with me. That's what happened. And it's just, dude, you just can't hate these people enough.
Yeah, that was the birthright citizen was deported. It was like, well, if you forgot, on day one, Trump actually signed a thing that said birthright citizenship doesn't exist anymore, so she ain't shit. Bye, bitch.
Yeah, sorry. I was looking up the rain tax. Maryland's stormwater management fee. In 2010, the EPA mandates states in Chesapeake Bay watershed, including Maryland, to reduce stormwater runoff to comply with the Federal Clean Water Act. Blah, 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 passed House Bill 987 in 2012, establishing stormwater fees in 10 urban jurisdictions, 9 counties, and Baltimore City to fund the estimated $14.8 billion needed for stormwater management. Dude, like, these numbers are just insane, man. You need $15 billion to manage water?
Hasn't it rained for all of human history? And probably for all of, like, the history that preceded humans existing as well? Like,
so the fee, dubbed the rain tax by critics, was based on the amount of impervious surface on property, i.e. roofs, driveways, parking lots, as these surfaces generate more runoff. Fees varied by jurisdictions, with some charging flat rates and others calculated based on square footage of the impervious area. For example, Frederick County set a symbolic 1 cent annual fee in protest, while Carroll County refused to impose it. Okay, yeah, the outcome, blah, 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 faced opposition. Okay, but there's another one. New Jersey Stormwater Utility Law 2019, Cobb County, Georgia 2024 has a proposal. Pennsylvania's stormwater fees are ongoing. Dude, Grok's pretty great. I'm not going to go through all of that on the show here, but absolutely has replaced Googling for me. Took me like a week to break the Google habit. And now I just use Grok for everything.
yeah, Grok is pretty good, and I like it.
Yeah. All right, how much are we doing on time? Okay, what else we got today?
Well, speaking of, we've been talking about a bunch of like regulations and bills and stuff going into place that we don't like and that are terrible and that don't accomplish anything. And this one might not accomplish anything either, but by God, the name is amazing. There's a new bill in Congress to stop insider trading. It's called the Preventing Elected Leaders Owning Securities Investments, aka the Pelosi Act. It has been it's been brought forward by Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri. Josh Hawley is an all-time troll. He's pretty good.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Of course, like, I guarantee you this will get no traction because the people that vote on it are the ones making billions of dollars from insider trading. So obviously this is going nowhere. It's dead on arrival. But yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's what they should throw in Nancy Pelosi's face. No, you have to pass this one so you can find out what is in it.
I wonder if like Nancy Pelosi is going to, during the discussions on it and stuff, like, is she going to ask questions about this? Is she like, what's she going to say? Because I mean, the fact that there's a fucking Nancy Pelosi stock trader app, and there's a Twitter page that just follows Nancy Pelosi stock trades, like, she can't have anything to say about this. Like,
you think there'd be like a conflict of interest? Like, you have to sit this one out. Anybody who's fucking actually has like an investment account can't fucking vote on this bill. Like, their vote's just in favor of it or something. Like I said, if this vote fails, I just want instantaneous declaration of all the trades that they make. You guys want to insider trade? Fine. But you don't get 3 months to front run us. So like, that's what the stock tracker app does. It basically just waits till they're like legally obligated to disclose their holdings, and then it mimics whatever they did over the last couple of months. I want it instantaneous. I want to know what Nancy Pelosi bought today. I don't want to know it 6 months from now.
Right. Do all the insider trading you want, but it has to all be completely public in real time. That way, if you're making moves on stuff, everybody else can be like, oh, maybe like that looks like a normal trade, or ooh, that looks like something shady. Maybe I should get in on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we'll know like what's the other it's called like the dominoes indicator or something like that, where it's like you can tell something's going on in Washington DC when there's like based on the number of pizza deliveries, because they're staying late into the night or something and working on shit like at the the Situation Room or whatever. They order a bunch of pizzas. It's just like, oh shit, a bunch of pizzas just got ordered at like 3 o'clock in the morning. There's some sort of fucking index for that.
They're
I
pulling
forget what it's called. Some sort of pizza index. Yeah, you could tell like if we're on the verge of World War III, you're gonna see like Papa John's orders go through the fucking roof. Yeah. Oh god, that would be. I mean, it is absolutely criminal that they've been getting away with it. I remember, like, dude, like 15 years ago was when I first found out that they were like doing all this trading. But there was a whole 60-minute segment on it. This was like literally like in 2010 or something. It was so long ago, and nothing ever came up. Like, imagine having like 60 Minutes has a segment on how, yes, we just put Martha Stewart in prison for insider trading, but everyone in Congress is insider trading. And it's completely illegal for them to do it. And this guy introduced the bill or whatever, and obviously it went nowhere because the people that are making millions off of insider trading are the ones that have to pass the bill. You're on 60 Minutes, you get a whole segment and nothing ever happens. Pizza Index. Yeah, go ahead and read that.
The Pizza Index refers to the sudden trackable increase of takeout food orders, not necessarily of pizza, made from government offices, particularly the Pentagon and the White House in the United States, before major international events unfold. Government officials order food from nearby restaurants when they stay late in the office to monitor developing situations such as the possibility of a war or a coup, thereby signaling that they are expecting something big to happen. This index can be monitored through open sources such as Google Maps, which show when business location is abnormally busy. Some notable incidents are pizza orders to the Pentagon doubled up the night before the United States invasion of Grenada in October 1983. The same happened again the night before the December 1989 invasion of Panama. The night of August 1st, 1990, the CIA ordered 21 pizzas in a single night right before the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait, setting a new record. And on April 13th, 2024, pizza orders surged once again when Iran launched drones towards the state of Israel in retaliation for the Zionist bombing of the Iranian consulate in Syria.
Yeah. So we need to code something that ties this index to buying a bunch of defense stocks. As soon as takeout orders skyrocket, you just load up on fucking Raytheon. Hope for the best. Yeah, interesting. Incredible. There are some pretty interesting trading strategies out there, I will say.
And then, like, I guess with Google Maps, you could just have like a notification set up that, like, if fast food orders or if like food orders in this particular area start to hit a certain point, then it would trigger a notification. You'd be like, oh shit, something's about to hit the fan. And as far as like trading goes, if shit hits the fan, the market usually responds pretty volatilely the next day. So yeah, you could play that shit.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we can make some money off of these scumbags in DC. But yeah, the Pelosi Act. We'll see how far that gets. It's just so great that he named it the Pelosi Act. And it's just they don't even try to hide the naked corruption. It's just, yeah, we all just, I guess, accept it and we laugh about it, but it's fucking criminal what they get away with.
Yeah, like I doubt this goes very far. This is like whenever Thomas Massey, puts forward his bill to end the Department of Education every year. Like, it's going to end up being something along those lines. They probably won't even let it get to the floor. They won't have any discussion about it. It definitely won't get voted on. Like, they'll just pretend it never happened. But the fact that somebody's like trying to do it is, even if it's purely symbolic, at least it puts that shit in people's face, because there are going to be news articles that are written about this. Like, people are going to talk about the Pelosi Act. and then there's like, it's funny. I play a mobile game, and I was talking to some of the people I play with, and it's like 80 to 90% of the people have absolutely no fucking clue what goes on in this game. They're just playing or they just think they're playing a normal game. And then, some people actually know how the game works and understand the mechanics of it. That's kind of how this is. Like 80 to 90% of the people, and I think that might even be a low number, have no fucking clue what's going on. And they don't know that there is such a thing as a Pelosi Act. They don't know that Illinois is trying to put a 30-cent gas tax or a 30-cent per mile driving tax, or like, and they don't want to know, and they don't care. They just want to go like day to day. And that's why a lot of this shit is allowed to happen, because people just don't know and don't want to know.
Yeah, well, it's just one of the inherent flaws with this kind of system. When you have a government that controls this much of the world, $7 trillion a year, whatever it is we're spending now, there's always going to be special interest groups that stand to make millions, billions, trillions of dollars off of lobbying for their efforts. But, to you or to the average person, it's like, okay, yeah, so like the gas tax. So my gas costs like an extra 8 cents a gallon or something like that. Okay, like that's my rice costs a little more, my sugar costs a little more, like 4 cents or something like that. It's like a little thing to 300 million people. It's not really worth dealing with, but to the small group of connected people that benefit from the gas tax or from the sugar tax, all that kind of shit, they make, hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's very important to them, which means they're going to lobby the congressman to make sure that it stays in place. And it's like, yeah, okay, like it's sort of death by 1,000 cuts for everybody else that lives in the country.
Well, and I think one of the positive things about like Trump and Elon and the way this administration is kind of set up is it is very brash, it is very in your face, and it is very just open with a lot of stuff. And a lot of the people who normally wouldn't give a shit and don't pay attention to this stuff, because of the way it's being presented, and also because of the way that mainstream media overplays its hand to oppose it, it's bringing a lot of this stuff into the view of people of a lot of that 80 to 90% who otherwise wouldn't give a shit. So like you're engaging people to actually notice and care about what's going on with this stuff. I was reading an article earlier before we started. It was like, 78 million people voted for Donald Trump. How is his actual approval rating with his voting base right now? And it's like 2% of the 77 to 78 million are unhappy with it, but the overwhelming majority are happier than what they were on election day when they voted for him. Like, not only is he delivering what they wanted, they're like ecstatic about the way it's going. Like they're like, heck yeah, it's going better than I even thought it would. Like, and that's from fucking USA Today. USA Today is one of the like hardest left leaning rags that there is out there right now. And that was in USA Today. Like the opening line basically said, sorry, Democrats, we got bad news for you. Trump's base actually really loves him.
Yeah. Things are going to have to get much, much worse for the Trump supporters to turn on him. Which is why, we've been talking about like just how stupid it is that they just jump on every little thing. Like the sky is falling. It's just you got to relax. Just wait for things to get actually bad. Because all indications are that we're in a pretty precarious situation. I know I sent you the thing on the jobs. UPS cutting a bunch of jobs. That whole article goes through like a bunch of just indications that it's like everyone thinks that the economy was great, and then the tariff, like just Trump enacting these tariffs destroyed the economy. It's like no, dude, we haven't even felt the effects of the tariffs yet. It's like there's a lag here.
Right. People don't understand like the tariffs, the effect of the tariffs doesn't go into place tomorrow. It's like when the price of oil would go up and then gas would go up literally the next day. It's like those are not the gas going up is not directly impacted by that. Like there's a certain percentage of it where that is put in play, but this is because of something that happened 3 months ago, not because of what's happening right now. Like you don't feel the effect of this for another couple months.
Yeah, it has to work its way through the supply chain.
Speaking of the tariffs, I was reading a thing. China is waiving a bunch of their tariffs that they were putting on. So like there was a big thing about like Boeing contracts getting canceled and stuff, and now China is going to waive the tariffs that they were putting on like airplane engines and different stuff. Like a lot of this art of the deal kind of shit is kind of working itself out over the run of this whole process. But you got the initial panic 2 or 3 weeks ago, but here we're seeing the process kind of play itself out.
Well, pull up the UPS thing again. I just want to go through that real quick.
UPS plans to cut tens of thousands of jobs this year and close dozens of leased and owned facilities by the end of June. Didn't UPS also just have a big thing where they went on strike and like demanded, what was it, like $80,000 minimum wage for everybody?
They turned down like the initial offer, right? Which was
yeah. Didn't UPS just like last year have this big thing where like they were supposed to get all of this money and be paid like a metric fuck ton? How's that working out for you?
Yeah. So I don't know. They're basically just saying that they're seeing a lower volumes from Amazon orders. There was, I think if you scroll down, there's like a graph or something that shows what's been happening at the ports off the coast of California. Maybe I think that's this one. What is that graph? Imported high volume staple goods from China. Maybe it was
okay, wait. So this is going to be blamed on the Trump tariffs, but wasn't there something else that went into effect in California with the ships and stuff, like the ships in the ports and like their detention time, and it's another one of those like environmental activism bullshit things.
I remember there was definitely something going on with the shipyards. Like, was that last year?
Yeah, I can't remember. See, I thought there was something like, I thought the thing with the shipyards was the ones in like New York and on the East Coast, but where Trump, or not Trump, where Biden was trying to like negotiate with them, and then Trump had a meeting with them, and then they went and agreed to some stuff with Biden after Trump had a meeting with them. Like basically Trump promised them that he would take care of them once he got into office and stuff. So they were like, all right, well, we can deal with this like short-term bullshit deal from Biden till we get Trump in there. Now, I'm almost positive there was some sort of a tax or a levy or something that was being put on these big shipping companies that run the ships coming into these ports in California.
Yeah,
and
it's ringing some sort of a bell, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember it specifically either. But it's like that's one of those things that when it got passed, it's like, okay, this will go into effect in April of next year. It's like, okay, so like, are these things like, is this Trump tariffs or is this, other stuff that's been happening?
Okay. Well, we'll have to, maybe we'll follow up on the next episode. We'll have till Friday to figure out what the hell you're talking about. Oh man, nice little dump here after markets. Oh, we're getting some. I think this is. We're coming up on earnings season too, so I think there'll be some big earnings stories coming out in the next couple of weeks. Anyway, I guess we're kind of coming up on time. Is there anything else I sent you for today?
No, that got us through everything that we had on.
That's it.
Yeah.
Hang on. What? Didn't you send me something? Or was that just that? Oh, that was another shithole Chicago thing. I guess the teachers unions. Yeah, we don't really need to beat up on them anymore. But.
Yeah, I was just sending you that to highlight the things that we
Yeah, a bunch of people sent that to me. But I thought I sent you something else too. What did I send you?
No, I just sent you the SpongeBob I'm ready gift, letting you know that I was ready to go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh wait, I didn't send you the thing about the pilot, the helicopter pilot. Maybe I just.
Oh, the female pilot that she was told like multiple times that she was getting mansplained to by her co-pilot that she needed to like do something different because they were in a bad spot, and then like she's like, nah, I got this. I don't need you mansplaining to me how to pilot a helicopter, and then they got hit by a fucking pilot.
Let me see if I could have sworn I sent that to you, but maybe I didn't. I don't see it anywhere in my feed here.
That's Good Friday fare anyway.
Yeah, it is. You're right. We can get out of here on that. That, and also, I don't know, we haven't really talked about the forgot to talk about the judge that got arrested.
The judge that went to jail?
Yeah.
For harboring illegals or something? Yeah. They're hiding them from the ICE raid.
Yeah, I don't know how I forgot about that for today. It's just that was like 2 days ago, so it's old news.
Your brain knew that these are like Good Friday topics. These are things that are like funny and stupid that we should definitely talk about on a Friday.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we'll get out of here on that. Tune in on Friday to see if it turns out somebody is above the law now, because I remember specifically that nobody was above the law until you arrest a judge for helping an illegal immigrant escape ICE people, like shoving them out the back of the court. Like, dude, it's cartoonish what's been going on. So it's a very interesting time to be alive. Thank you so much for listening. You got anything else going on this week?
Nope.
All right. Yeah, I should be back to business as usual. No more house guests and things slowing down here. There was the last 2 weeks have just been like the week before Easter and the week after, just major holiday shit for Mexico. So everybody's gone now. Got the whole place to myself. We had an earthquake drill today. So, but not planning on another earthquake until at least September. So hopefully, fingers crossed on that. And until Friday, you guys know what to do. Just keep on peddling that so-called fiction. Peace.